As the day draws to a close, a quiet stillness begins to settle over the world. The hustle, the noise, the constant demands of life, they all fade into the background, and in that quiet, we are left to confront the storm inside. How often, when the world is asleep, do our hearts remain restless? The worries, the fears, the unanswered questions, they have a way of growing louder in the silence. The night seems to amplify our struggles, as if the dark is a mirror to the darkness within. But here, in this very moment, God offers us something more, something deeper than the anxieties that plague us, something more enduring than the fleeting comforts we chase. He offers us peace. It is a peace that transcends understanding, a peace that does not depend on the shifting circumstances of our lives, but is rooted in the unshakable truth of His presence. In the quiet of this moment, we can hear Him calling to us, saying, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. These words are not just a promise, they are an invitation to lay down our burdens, to surrender our anxieties, and to trust that we are not alone in this world, not even in the dark of night. Welcome to C.S. Lewis. Here, you will discover the path to a deeper and more meaningful relationship with God. Before we continue, please remember to subscribe below to stay up to date with our latest videos. Every subscribe, like, and comment helps us keep the C.S. Lewis channel going. Now, keep listening. As we reflect on the words of C.S. Lewis, we are reminded of how often we try to carry our burdens alone. We strive to control everything, to fix everything, to manage our lives as though we are the ones who hold the keys to peace. Yet, the more we try, the more restless we become. Lewis once wrote, "I pray because I can't help myself. I pray because I'm helpless. I pray because the need flows out of me all the time, waking and sleeping. It doesn't change God, it changes me." This profound realization invites us to see prayer not as a way to change God's will, but as a means of opening our hearts to the peace He freely gives. Prayer is an act of surrender, an act of trust. It is a way to step into the shelter of His presence, to find comfort in the knowledge that He is with us, guiding us, loving us, even when we feel lost in the dark. Tonight, as you lie down, take a deep breath and remember that peace is available to you, right here, right now. The world may be chaotic, and the pressures of life may feel overwhelming, but in this quiet moment, you can choose to trust that God is enough. He is your refuge, your fortress, your strength. And in this stillness, the peace that only He can provide will settle over your heart, soothing the fears and anxieties that often keep us awake. You do not need to solve everything tonight, nor do you need to carry the weight of tomorrow on your shoulders. For this moment, let go and rest in the comfort of His embrace. His promise to you is sure. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. As the night deepens, our minds may begin to wander, turning over the events of the day, the struggles we face, and the uncertainties that lie ahead. We might be tempted to wrestle with our own thoughts, trying to solve problems, make plans, or fix what seems broken. Yet in doing so, we can often find ourselves caught in a cycle of worry, a cycle that robs us of the peace we so desperately need. It is in these moments, in the stillness of the night, that we are called to remember something profound. We are not meant to carry these burdens alone. God, in His infinite wisdom and love, has promised to walk with us through every trial, every doubt, and every fear. His presence is not dependent on our circumstances. It is constant, unchanging, and always near. In C.S. Lewis' writings, we often find echoes of this truth. He once said, "Reeling on God has to begin all over again every day as if nothing had yet been done." This admission reveals something crucial about our spiritual journey. The need to rely on God isn't a one-time event. It is an ongoing choice, a daily surrender. Every morning, every evening, every moment, we are called to place our trust in Him afresh. There is an invitation in this, a call to release the need for control and to embrace the rest that comes when we choose to trust in God's sovereignty. When we do this, we discover something remarkable. The burden lightens, the heart steadies, and the peace of God enters into our lives in ways we cannot fully explain. This peace is not merely the absence of trouble. It is the presence of God in the midst of trouble. It is the deep assurance that no matter what may come, we are held in His hands. As the scriptures remind us, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge." Psalm 18:2. Tonight, as you rest your head, remember that you are held by the Creator of the universe. He sees the full picture, even when we only see fragments. He knows the way forward, even when the path seems unclear. And most importantly, He is with you. In your worries, in your pain, in your joy, He is there. C.S. Lewis, in his book Mere Christianity, wrote about the difficulty of trusting God. He acknowledged how easy it is to become distracted by our circumstances, to focus on what we can see, what we can control. Yet, he also reminded us that true peace comes when we surrender our need for control and trust in God's plan, even when we do not fully understand it. God cannot give us a happiness and peace apart from Himself, Lewis wrote, because it is not there. There is no such thing. These words invite us to reflect on where we seek peace. Is it in our possessions, our accomplishments, or our ability to control our lives? Or is it in the steady, unwavering presence of God, who promises peace that transcends understanding? Tonight you are invited to release your grip on the things you cannot control. Lay down your worries and your fears, trusting that God is more than capable of carrying them for you. Let your mind rest in the assurance that He has already paved the way for you. You do not need to figure it all out tonight. You do not need to be in control. Instead, you can rest in Him, knowing that His love is a shield around you, protecting you from the storms of life. He will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. Let this truth settle into your heart tonight. You are not alone. God is with you, and in His presence you can find the peace that you so deeply long for. As the night deepens and the quiet of the world envelops us, it becomes clear that the greatest battle we face is not against external forces, but within ourselves. The pull of our worries, our anxieties, our need to control every detail of our lives. These are the true sources of unrest. We fight against the flow of peace, striving to manage, to fix, to hold everything in place. And yet in all this striving, we only make ourselves more weary. What if, instead of fighting against the storms of life, we chose to surrender to the one who holds the power to calm them? What if we let go of our need for control, trusting that God's plan is greater than our own? C.S. Lewis often spoke of the deep transformation that comes when we choose to surrender to God. He wrote, "I pray because I can't help myself. I pray because I'm helpless. I pray because the need flows out of me all the time, waking and sleeping. It doesn't change God. It changes me." These words reveal something profound. Prayer, at its core, is not a way to change God's will, but a way to change our hearts. It is a means of surrendering ourselves, of laying down our burdens, and accepting the peace God offers. In the stillness of this moment, as the weight of the day falls away, we are given an opportunity to choose surrender, to say, "Lord, I can't do this on my own. I need you. I trust you." It is in this act of surrender that we discover the peace that surpasses all understanding. It is in letting go that we receive the rest we so desperately crave. The Bible tells us, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." 1 Peter 5:7. This is an invitation to release our burdens into his hands, to stop carrying what we were never meant to carry. It is an invitation to trust in his unfailing love and care. He does not ask us to figure everything out, to fix every problem, to have all the answers. He simply asks us to trust in him. And trust, my friends, is the key to peace. It is the decision to believe, with every fiber of our being, that God is in control, even when our circumstances suggest otherwise. It is the willingness to lay down our fears, to surrender our need for certainty, and to trust that God's plans for us are better than our own. As we reflect on the words of C.S. Lewis, we are reminded that this surrender is not a one-time event. It is something we must choose again and again, each day, each moment. Relying on God has to begin all over again every day, as if nothing had yet been done. Lewis said, "Each day brings new challenges, new uncertainties, and each day we must choose to trust him anew." This is not a passive surrender. It is an active choice. It is the choice to believe, even when the way forward seems unclear. It is the choice to rest, knowing that the God who created the heavens and the earth is also the God who cares for us intimately. In the midst of our struggles, in the silence of the night, we are reminded of the profound truth found in Psalm 23:4. "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." These words offer us comfort in the darkest of times. They remind us that no matter what we face, we are never alone. God is with us, walking beside us, guiding us, and comforting us. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, I encourage you to surrender your worries, your fears, your uncertainties to God. Lay them down at his feet and trust that he is more than capable of carrying them. You do not need to control everything. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need to trust that God's plan is unfolding, even when you cannot see it. And in this surrender, you will find the peace that only he can give. A peace that is not dependent on your circumstances, but on his unchanging love and faithfulness. Rest in that peace tonight. Let it fill your heart, and let it carry you into tomorrow with the assurance that God is in control. As we journey through life, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the noise, the distractions, and the constant striving. We are often caught up in the demands of the day, in the quest for success, recognition, or control. But when the world quiets down and the busyness of the day fades away, there remains an undeniable truth. True peace is not found in achievement or acquisition. It is found in the presence of God. C.S. Lewis, in his writings, often reminded us of the importance of peace that comes not from the world around us, but from the presence of God within us. In Mere Christianity, he writes, God cannot give us a happiness and peace apart from himself, because it is not there. There is no such thing. These words challenge us to reconsider where we seek peace. Is it in our possessions, in our accomplishments, or is it in the steady, unshakable peace that comes when we rest in God's love and care? The peace that God offers is not a fleeting, temporary peace. It is a deep, abiding peace that transcends all understanding. As Philippians 4:7 tells us, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This peace is a gift that we receive when we choose to surrender our lives, our fears, and our worries into God's hands. But this peace does not come without its own challenges. The world around us often tries to steal our peace. We are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need more, that we are not enough, or that we must work harder to achieve happiness. In the midst of these pressures, it is easy to lose sight of the peace that God offers. Yet, even in the midst of this noise, we are reminded that God's peace is always available to us. In John 14:27, Jesus himself said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." These words are a promise. They are a reminder that no matter what we face in this world, the peace of Christ is greater. His peace does not depend on our circumstances. It is grounded in the unchanging truth of his presence. Tonight, as you reflect on these words, I encourage you to remember that God's peace is always available to you. It is not something you must earn or strive for. It is a gift that you can receive simply by opening your heart to him. And when you receive his peace, it will guard your heart and mind, protecting you from the worries and anxieties that so often threaten to steal your rest. C.S. Lewis understood this truth deeply. He wrote, "The only thing we have to offer God is ourselves, our will. We surrender it to him, and he will fill it with peace, joy, and love." This act of surrender, of offering ourselves to God, is the key to receiving the peace that he promises. It is in laying down our own desires, our own ambitions, our own need for control, that we find true peace. And this peace, dear friends, is not dependent on the absence of trouble. It is not the absence of conflict or fear. Instead, it is the presence of God in the midst of our struggles. It is the assurance that, no matter what we face, we are never alone. God is with us, and he will never leave us. In the quiet of the night, as the world sleeps, we are invited to rest in this peace, to let go of the worries that keep us awake, to surrender our anxieties to the one who holds the universe in his hands. And in that surrender, we will find rest. We will find the peace that guards our hearts and minds, and we will find the strength to face whatever tomorrow may bring. As you lie down to sleep tonight, remember that God's peace is available to you. It is a peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace that is not based on your circumstances but on the unshakable truth of God's love and presence. Let that peace fill your heart, and let it carry you into tomorrow with the confidence that God is with you. In the quiet moments of the night when the world outside has fallen still, we often find ourselves face to face with the questions that plague us. The uncertainties about tomorrow, the regrets of yesterday, and the burdens of today all crowd into our thoughts, vying for our attention. How do we find peace amidst such chaos? How do we quiet the voices that demand our worry, our fear, and our control? The answer lies not in our ability to manage everything, but in our willingness to trust. Trust is the foundation of peace. When we choose to trust in God, we release our grip on the things that we cannot control. We acknowledge that, despite our best efforts, we are not the ultimate authors of our own story. We surrender to the one who has already written it and knows the beginning from the end. C.S. Lewis beautifully captures this truth when he writes, "Reeling on God has to begin all over again every day as if nothing had yet been done." This daily act of trust is not a one-time decision. It is a continual surrender, a constant choice to let go of our own plans and align ourselves with God's will. Each day, we are invited to trust that He is working all things for our good, even when we cannot see how. In Matthew 6:34, Jesus reminds us, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself." Each day has enough trouble of its own. This invitation is a challenge to let go of the burden of tomorrow, to focus on the present, and to trust that God will take care of what lies ahead. So often, we find ourselves consumed by the uncertainties of the future, but Jesus calls us to release our anxieties and trust that He holds our future in His hands. When we trust God, we are freed from the heavy burden of worry. Worry is a form of control. It is our attempt to hold on to the future, to predict outcomes, to manage every detail. But trust is the opposite. It is an act of surrender, a recognition that we cannot do it all, but that God can. And in that surrender, we find freedom. We find peace. This peace is not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of God in the midst of it. It is the assurance that, no matter what comes, we are held in God's hands. He is our refuge, our strength, our ever-present help in times of trouble. As Psalm 46:1 reminds us, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. In the midst of our trials, we can find peace by trusting that God is with us, guiding us, and protecting us. C.S. Lewis knew that peace does not come from our circumstances, but from our relationship with God. He wrote, "God cannot give us a happiness and peace apart from Himself, because it is not there. There is no such thing." True peace, Lewis reminds us, is found in God alone. It is the peace that comes when we release our own desires for control and trust in the perfect will of the one who loves us. When we trust God, we are not passive. We are active participants in the unfolding of His plan. Trust is not a resignation to the unknown. It is an active daily choice to align ourselves with God's will and to believe that He is faithful. It is the confidence that He will never leave us, that He will provide for us, and that He will guide us through every step of our journey. And this trust brings with it a deep freedom, the freedom to rest, the freedom to let go of our need for control, the freedom to live each day fully, knowing that we are held by a loving Father who cares for us deeply. As you prepare to rest tonight, I encourage you to surrender your need for control. Let go of the worries about tomorrow, the regrets of yesterday, and the anxieties of today. Trust that God is in control, that He will take care of all that lies ahead. In His hands, you are safe. In His care, you are secure. Allow the peace of God to settle over your heart tonight. Let it fill the spaces where worry and fear once resided. And in that peace you will find rest. You will find the freedom to let go of the burden of control and trust in the goodness and faithfulness of God. As the night envelops us and we find ourselves still in the quiet, the truth becomes clear. We are not self-sufficient. Our strength, our wisdom, our ability to control the world around us, these are fragile, fleeting things. In the stillness we realize that despite our best efforts, we are finite, vulnerable, and in need of something greater than ourselves. We long for strength, for stability, for peace in the face of life's overwhelming challenges. But what if true strength is not found in our ability to control or manage, but in our willingness to embrace our weakness and surrender it to God? C.S. Lewis, in his work The Problem of Pain, wrote, "God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world." These words speak to the powerful truth that in our moments of weakness and suffering, we are often most attuned to the presence of God. It is in these moments that we are reminded that we cannot do it alone, and that is when God's strength becomes most evident. The Apostle Paul understood this dynamic well. In 2 Corinthians 12:9 he writes, "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me.'" In our weakness, God's power is made perfect. It is in our surrender, in our recognition that we cannot carry the weight of the world, that God's strength is revealed. This truth is difficult to accept because it runs contrary to the way the world teaches us to think. The world tells us that strength is found in self-reliance, in pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, in achieving and conquering. But in God's kingdom, strength is found in weakness. It is found in our vulnerability, in our dependence on Him. C.S. Lewis often spoke about this paradox in his writings. He understood that in our own weakness, we are more fully able to experience the grace of God. "I pray because I can't help myself," he wrote. "I pray because I'm helpless. I pray because the need flows out of me all the time, waking and sleeping. It doesn't change God. It changes me." In prayer, in surrender, we open ourselves to the transforming power of God's grace. And in this grace, we find strength that does not depend on our own efforts, but on the power of God at work in us. As we face the struggles and difficulties of life, we must remember that we are not expected to bear the weight alone. God invites us to bring our burdens to Him, to acknowledge our weaknesses, and to trust that His strength will carry us through. In Matthew 11:28, Jesus extends this invitation, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This rest is not just physical, it is a rest for our souls. It is the peace that comes when we release our need for control and trust that God will provide for us. When we lean into our weakness and surrender our burdens to God, we make room for His strength to flow through us. This is the divine exchange. Our weakness for His strength, our inability for His power, our weariness for His rest. Tonight, as you lie down to sleep, I invite you to surrender your weakness to God. Acknowledge the areas of your life where you feel fragile, uncertain, or overwhelmed. Let go of the need to fix everything and trust that God's power is made perfect in your weakness. You do not need to have all the answers, And you do not need to have everything figured out. You only need to trust that God is with you, and that His strength is sufficient for every need. In your weakness, His power will rest upon you, and in His power, you will find the strength to face whatever challenges lie ahead. As C.S. Lewis once wrote, "The task of the modern church is to teach the world how to live with weakness. This is not a weakness to be ashamed of, but a weakness that invites God's grace, a weakness that opens us to His strength. It is in our frailty that we are made strong, not because of anything we do, but because of what God has already done for us through Christ. So rest tonight in the knowledge that God's power is at work in you. Embrace your weakness and trust that His strength will carry you through the night and into the days ahead." As we come to the close of this journey through the night, we find ourselves standing at a profound truth. God's faithfulness is the steady ground beneath our feet, the constant that anchors us in every season of life. No matter what we face, whether joy or sorrow, triumph or struggle, God remains faithful. His promises never fail. His love never changes. In the quiet of the night, when everything else falls away, we are reminded that we are not left to navigate life on our own. We are not abandoned in our fears or struggles. God is with us. He has promised to never leave us or forsake us, and His faithfulness is our refuge. C.S. Lewis, who deeply understood the human longing for peace and assurance, often spoke of the unshakable truth of God's presence. He once wrote, "There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind." This hopeful reflection speaks to the deeper reality that no matter the challenges of today, God's plans for us are always good, always filled with hope, and always leading us towards something greater. Even when the road ahead seems uncertain, we can rest in the assurance that God is faithful and His plans will prevail. The scriptures are full of reminders of God's faithfulness. In Lamentations 3:22-23, we are told, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." Every day, God's mercies are new. His faithfulness is renewed with the rising of the sun. And no matter what we have faced, no matter what we have endured, His love and care for us remain constant. In Psalm 23:1-4, David writes, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." These words are a powerful reminder that we are never alone. God is our shepherd, our guide, and our protector. His presence goes with us, even through the darkest valleys, and He is faithful to lead us into peace and rest. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, I invite you to rest in the faithfulness of God. Rest in the knowledge that He has already gone before you, that He holds your future, and that His love and care for you are unwavering. You do not need to worry about tomorrow, because He is already there, guiding and protecting you. As you rest in His faithfulness, allow yourself to reflect on the countless ways He has shown up in your life. His faithfulness is evident in every moment, the blessings He has given, the strength He has provided, the grace He has poured out. Take a moment to thank Him for His unchanging love, and rest in the peace that comes from knowing that you are never alone. The peace of God is not just the absence of trouble. It is the assurance that God is with us, that He is faithful, and that He will never leave us. This is the peace that surpasses all understanding. This is the peace that guards our hearts and minds, even in the midst of the trials of life. As C.S. Lewis wrote, "In God's world, there are no accidents. Everything that happens in our lives is part of His perfect plan, even when we cannot see the full picture. His faithfulness is the constant thread that weaves through every moment, every challenge, every joy. And as we trust in Him, we can rest assured that He is always at work, shaping us, guiding us, and leading us toward His good purpose. Tonight, let His faithfulness be your comfort. Let it be your strength. Let it be the anchor that keeps you steady through the storms of life. And as you rest, know that you are held in the arms of a faithful God who will never let you go." As we conclude this time of reflection, let us take a moment to reflect on the powerful lessons that have been shared. In the stillness of the night, we are reminded of the peace that only God can give, a peace that is not dependent on our circumstances, but on His constant presence in our lives. We are encouraged to trust in Him, to surrender our burdens, and to rely on His strength. We have learned that God's faithfulness is the foundation of our peace, and His love is the steady anchor that holds us secure, no matter the storm. We invite you to share your thoughts and reflections on this journey. How has God's peace shown up in your life? How have you experienced His faithfulness? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to the C.S. Lewis channel for more reflections, inspiration, and spiritual nourishment.